Hello, good morning, and a very warm welcome indeed to today's iOB Business webinar. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on here. My name is Ben, and I'm the resident business coach here at iOB Business, and I'll be the one taking you through today's webinar presentation. Okay, so just a little bit about how these webinars run right before we get kicked off for today's session. Okay, so if you would like to ask any questions, you're more than welcome to do so, and please do feel free to do so at any point throughout today's webinar presentation. Now, what we're also going to do is take a brief pause in between each of the three core topics we're going to speak about today to give everyone a chance to jot down any questions and any notes and get them in either at the end during the Q&A segment, which we're going to do at the end of today's webinar, or feel free to ask them at any point. Okay, so there's a gray Q&A box or sort of black and white Q&A box at the bottom of the screen there. You can use that to ask with any questions that you might wish to ask as well. Okay, and all the questions are going to get answered at the end of today's session during the Q&A segment. Okay, so that is a little bit about how the webinar works. Welcome to those of you on here just now. Welcome to those of you joining us just now. It's a pleasure to have you on here, and we are just approaching the 10 o'clock mark. So what we will do is we'll switch off the video camera, but you should still be able to hear my voice. And in just a moment's time, you should be able to see the presentation that we have up on screen there for you as well. Okay, perfect. So today's topic of conversation, how to make your digital agency work around you. Okay, so it's a very, very important topic for many business owners to understand, essentially how to not let our agency run us, okay, our business run us. And it's very, very important to understand how we remain in control of our business and how we can make the most of it for our lives and our lifestyle going forwards, okay? Because one of the wonderful, wonderful things about being a business owner is simply the fact that we have the option, we have the ability to make our business work around us, and we can really live the best possible version of our lives. And that's what makes it amazing, okay? So my name is Ben. I'm a business coach. I specialize in working with small businesses, just like many of you on here today, to help them achieve stability and growth. It's my passion. It's a genuine pleasure to get to be on here presenting these webinars to you. So 3 discussion points today, as always. Number 1, the beauty of being a business owner. We're going to talk about why being a business owner is such an incredible thing and how it opens up so many avenues in your life. Number 2, time is your most valuable asset. Okay, we're going to talk about how time really wins above all. And finally, we're going to talk about key tips for staying in control of your business. Okay, beginning with topic number 1, the beauty of being a business owner. So let's get into the first topic. First slide for some valuable tips, okay? Now, here's the biggest message I want to get across to you, and this is why we're opening the webinar this way, okay? The single most important thing that I will say to you on this webinar, you are the engineer of your own life. You choose how it works. Many of us have had jobs, still have a job, and even if you love that job, you have to be somewhere at a certain time. You're being told where to be by somebody else. You're being told how long to stay there for. You're being told sometimes even what to do. Okay, you're being told how long you're allowed to take for lunch. You're being told where you must go to eat your lunch. Okay, now, whilst we go through our daily motions of, I don't mind this, I like my job, it might also begin to start feeling like somebody else is always telling you what to do. And therefore, you might start to feel a little bit less like you're actually the engineer of your own life. Because if you wake up at 7 and you go to bed at 10 and you work at 9 and you finish at 5, well, 8 hours plus commute, you've already taken away 8 of those 15 hours that you're awake. If you add on another 2 for commuting, you've already taken away 10 out of those 15 hours. So that is 2/3 of your entire day, every single weekday, that is being taken up by being told where to be, what to do, when to be there, how long to stay there for. Okay? So to put this into perspective, it's simply mathematical. And you could even make the argument that in the morning from when you wake up, really all you can do is prepare to go to work. Okay? Now, even if we love our jobs, and the point of me saying that, by the way, was that if we're waking up in the morning and we're preparing to go to work, then you can take even more time off because you're preparing to go to work before the commute. So you don't actually get any time to yourself until you get home. So let's say you finish work at 5, you get home at 6, then you have from 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. to do with what you wish. That's 4 hours out of your 15 that you get to choose what to do with. Okay? So you are the engineer of your own life. You have to remind yourself of this. And even when we enjoy what we do, if we feel like we are being told what to do, when to do it, how to do it, how long to be there for, how long to do it for, you may begin to feel a little bit like you're not actually hugely in control of a large portion of your time. Okay. Now, with your business, you are the engineer of your own life. You choose how it works. You may still have to be somewhere at a certain time, but it's because you made the appointment. You decided that that time was good for you. Okay. Structure is great. Rhythm is great. Routine is great. But you have to set it. You are fully in control of scheduling your own working day. Okay. Now, this is a question I get a lot of my clients need to meet at 10 a.m. or they need to meet at 3 p.m. or they need to meet at 7 p.m. Shouldn't I just go with what they need? What's it worth to you? And this is a question I want you to ask yourself. Let's say we have two clients. We have one client that's paying us £100 a month. We have one client that's paying us £500 a month. Our £500 a month client is understanding and will meet on our schedule. They'll meet at 11 a.m. because that's when works best for us. Our £100 a month client wants to meet at 9:30 p.m. because that's when they finish doing whatever they're doing and that's when suits them. What's it worth to you? Could you find another £100 client? Could you find another £500 client? There is always an option. Okay, this is what you must remember. There is always an option. Now, what I hear too often in business is I didn't have a choice. I had to meet that client at 9:30 p.m. Why did you have to meet that client? Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, Ben, the only two choices there is meet the client and do the meeting at 9:30 p.m. or lose the client and lose £100 a month. But what if I give you a third option? What if you improved your marketing? What if you improved your sales? What if you had three £100 a month clients who were flexible to replace the one that wasn't? There's always a choice. You have to think outside the box. You have to think out with your current options. There is something else that you can do that you are not currently doing. Okay, you are fully in control of scheduling your own working day. Okay, you are fully in control of when you meet with your clients. Okay, you'll find an awful lot that if your terminology is used in a certain way, you'll end up limiting yourself. And what I mean by this, okay, so we're going to meet with our client. Hey, we need to catch up for a report. Let's run through what's been going on with your business over the last month or so. Let me know when works. Perfectly normal message, perfectly normal email, right? But what have you just done? You've opened yourself up massively to allow somebody else to choose when you're going to sit down together. And now you may have already accidentally committed yourself to a late night meeting or an early morning meeting that isn't convenient for you. Okay, so what we do instead, we say, hey, it'd be great to catch up. We've got this report we want to run through with you. Let's catch up on what's been going on with your business over the past month or so. I can do 2 p.m. Tuesday. I can do 11 a.m. Wednesday. Let me know what works. You're giving choices that work for you. There's still flexibility there for your client, but you are staying in control. It's your business. You're fully in control of when you complete your tasks and projects, okay? It's up to you. Complete and total flexibility. If working from 3 a.m. till 6 a.m. works for you, you can do that. If you're building a website for a client, you're creating an ads campaign, nobody says that you have to work between 9 and 5. Okay, now it's an extreme example, 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. It's so completely random, but it's just to highlight the control that you have over your own day. And this is the beauty of being a business owner. Okay, so that brings us to the end of topic number 1. I'll rejoin you in just a moment for topic number 2 after a brief pause. Please ask questions. Please jot down some notes, and I'll see you again in just a moment. Fantastic. So time, your most valuable asset, okay? Now, being conscious of your own time and how that influences your income is the first fundamental step in truly mastering your business, okay? So I'm going to give you a really simple formula. This is something that has been drilled into me for years, and my intention is to show you the same theory, okay? Your time is your most valuable asset. Now, the biggest mistake that many of us make is committing enormous amounts of time for money. Is there a way that you can earn the same money for less time? Okay. Now, let me give you this example. Okay. Let's say that I'm going to build a website myself. I'm going to get paid £100 for it. Okay. It's going to take me 10 hours. What's the profit? £100. Okay. Let's say on the same hand, we're going to make the same £100 website, but let's say this time I'm going to pay a professional. Okay. Now, a professional, because they're more skilled than I am in this field, can do it in half the time. What do I pay that professional? Well, I paid him £50. Okay. I think that's fair. So we get paid £100 for the website. We pay the professional £50. Now, how many websites could the professional make in the same time as me? That takes half amount of the time that I take. Therefore, they can make two websites in the same time. I can make one. What's the total profit? £100. How much time did I spend on making the websites? 0. Okay. Being conscious of your own time and how that influences your income is the first fundamental step in truly mastering your business. Okay. Just because we do things ourselves doesn't mean that we're saving or making more money. Okay. You can exchange time for money. If this is what you want to do, this is an option. Okay. You can exchange time for money. And this is what most of us do in the service industry. Okay. We will exchange our time directly for money. When we invoice, we'll work out how much time we're going to spend on something, how much time it's going to take us, and we'll invoice usually based on this. So if we take a rate of, let's say, just for this, just for this example, £10 an hour. I know we wouldn't, but let's just say we do. £10 an hour to build a website. It's going to take us 10 hours. Okay, so we charge £100 for it. Okay, that's typically what we do. We don't price based on value. We price based on time most of the time. Okay, now here's a stark reminder. Each one of us has a fixed amount of time to live in this life. We don't know how much, but we do know that it is not unlimited. Okay. Therefore, every time you spend a chunk of time, a day, a month, an hour, a week, doing anything, you are essentially exchanging a piece of your life for some kind of reward, usually financial. Okay. So you can exchange time for money. You can exchange even less time for money with fulfillment. Okay. What we talked about there. We can ask somebody else to build the websites who's more skilled. We can pay them fairly and indeed still make the same level of profit. Okay. You can exchange even less time for money with fulfillment. Now, running a strong and consistent business is about balancing time versus income. Okay. So I won't say to you that you can run a business with no time at all, because it's not accurate from my point of view. You still have to oversee things. If you're paying somebody else to build your websites, you still have to quality check. Okay, but you're looking at 2 hours maybe versus 10. Okay, you still have to manage your team. You still have to check the finances of your business. You still have to make sure that you're happy with the sales and marketing campaigns. You still have to check in with some of your clients. Okay, so running a strong, consistent business is about balancing time versus income. But if you're spending 60 hours a week right now on your business, how could you reduce that to 20? How can you do that? Okay, so running a strong, consistent business is about balancing time versus income. How much time do you want to spend and what income do you need? If you want to spend 20 hours a week running your business and you want to earn £10,000 a month, how are you going to make that happen? Okay, that brings us to the end of topic number 2. I'll rejoin you again in just a moment for topic number 3. Okay, let's move on to the third and final topics. Key tips for staying in control of your business. Okay. Number one, stick to agreed times for meetings. Okay. This is probably one of the most valuable things to know, I suppose, about running a business. Okay. Stick to the agreed times. If you agreed to meet at 10, meet at 10. If you agreed to meet for half an hour, meet for half an hour. Okay. If you don't value your time, nobody else will. I cannot tell you in my early days as a coach how many times I allowed meetings, prospecting calls, appointments to run over. Okay. Because I thought, well, my clients will really appreciate this. They'll acknowledge the fact that we're 15 minutes over time. Okay. They'll acknowledge the fact that I'm giving more of my time to them. Okay. Now, whilst even if they did acknowledge this, did I get paid more for it? No. Did I get an increase in my fee structure? No. What actually happened? I lost time. I lost my most valuable asset because I didn't stick to what I had agreed to stick to. I gave a client an extra 30 minutes for nothing. Sometimes this is a nice gesture. Sometimes it's a good way to do things, but most of the time it's something that you want to avoid. Why? Well, because the first thing that you're doing is setting a new expectation, whether you realize it or not. Okay? It's human nature to adapt and then begin enjoying things that we've adapted to. Okay? So if a client has adapted from a half an hour call to a 1 hour call, you can say you're going to meet for half an hour next week, but the client knows realistically it's probably going to be about an hour because you always run over. What does this do? Next time you try and increase any kind of fee, if you do, based on a time factor, they're not going to accept it. If all of a sudden you said, let's increase our calls from half an hour to an hour, and I would like to double the fee for that, they're going to turn around and say, well, I already get an hour, so why would I do that? Okay. There is sometimes sense in giving additional value. You have to be able to read when that's appropriate. Okay. Now, what's the second thing that's going to happen? If you do start finishing the call after half an hour, your client's going to get confused and wonder why you're only giving them 30 minutes on the call instead of the usual 60, even though your agreement is 30. They might even become irritated at the fact that you've all of a sudden started sticking to times again. It creates unnecessary confusion because it's not the norm, it's not the routine, because you've established a new routine, which is out with the boundaries that you previously agreed on. Okay, so stick to agreed times for meetings. Okay, now what's the final point here? The final reason to do this? If you plan for your day to run a certain way, do you think it's going to run that way if you continually run over time or meet at different times? No. I have a personal rule that if I join a call, Zoom call, Google Meet call, however we're meeting, and whoever it is that's turning up to the call is more than 5 minutes late, we reschedule. And I go to do something else that's valuable. Okay. You have to begin with respecting your own time. We said we're going to meet at 10, and I haven't been previously notified that that time's going to change. I'm leaving after 5 minutes. I understand there's delays, internet connection problems, etc. 5 minutes is more than enough time to send a text message saying I won't be able to meet today. Okay. So if it runs over 5 minutes, in my view, whoever is looking to meet with me, if they haven't notified me, doesn't respect my time and knows that even if they turn up 10 minutes late, I'll be there. I'll be waiting on a call. Okay. Stick to agreed times for meetings. Set yourself strict working hours. Okay. Do not fall into the habit of just working as and when. Okay. That is how your business begins to control you, because you will slip into the habit of, oh, well, there's a client email at 10 p.m. Oh, I'll just respond to it. What are you doing here? You're establishing a new boundary that I will respond to emails at 10 p.m. and it becomes an expectation. Second thing you're doing is not giving yourself any kind of discipline. Your mindset isn't understanding what's happening. because you're stretching what you previously agreed to. You're saying, well, essentially, I don't really follow my own rules. I'll just do as and when, whatever. Okay. Now, it might seem extreme to say something like this, but what we have to understand is that if we don't stick to what we previously agreed to stick to, we begin confusing ourselves, and we begin to allow ourselves responding to emails at 10 o'clock at night, picking up client calls during dinner, because all of that now somehow feels acceptable because we didn't initially agree to what we agreed to stick to, which is working hours. Okay. Just like you're in a job, in your business, you must agree with yourself and you choose when you're going to work. Now, what I really mean by that is don't take a client phone call at 10 p.m. unless your working hours include 10 p.m. Remain organized ahead of all of your tasks. Okay. Don't let things run away from you. If you said you're going to do something, do it. No matter how boring, do it, because you'll be glad that you got it done and then it's out the way. If you don't, you'll see that to-do list get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until it eventually becomes insurmountable in your view. You'll begin to feel like, oh, I can't do this. This is way too much. Okay, what is the other thing? Sorry, what other thing does organization create for you? Creates efficiency, happiness, content, fulfillment. Okay, because you're organized, because you think I'm in control. Organization gives you control. You know what's happening, when it's happening, how it's going to happen. If you don't organize yourself, you're not going to have these benefits. Be selective of your clientele. If a client is causing you difficulty before you've even started working together, a prospective client at this point, okay, so let's just say a prospect, I can't meet until 10 p.m. I want 15 briefs before we start working together. I want to speak with your other clients. I want to run through 2 or 3 proposals. I want to share them with my team. You have to meet with me, my team, their team, and somebody else's team before I'll agree to start working with you. If this client is behaving like that before you've started working together, how do you think they're going to behave when you do start working together? Ask yourself, is it worth it? Even if they're going to pay 10% more than my previous client, is that additional money worth it? Sleepless nights, late phone calls, expecting email responses immediately, is that worth it? Probably not. So that brings us to the end of topic number 3. We'll take another brief pause, and in just a moment's time, I'll run through the debrief of today's session, everything that we've discussed, and then we'll get on to the Q&A session. I'll see you again in just a moment. Perfect. So to recap, your business, your terms. You run your business on your own terms. Number 2, you only get a certain amount of time, so spend it wisely. And number 3, stay in control. Do not let things run away from you. Do not let your business start running you. As always, a massive thank you for taking the time to attend today's session. I hope it's been valuable. It's been a genuine pleasure for me to present this session to you. If you'd like to talk to a member of our team, you're more than welcome to head over to iob-business.com/talk and book a call at a time that suits you. If you follow this link, you'll see a calendar just like this one, where you can select the best date and time for yourself. Whilst I leave this link up on screen, I'm going to answer some of the questions that I have from today. First question, would you ever turn down a client? Yes, is the simple answer. If it didn't make sense for me, absolutely I would. If it was going to put me past working hours that I would agreed with myself, or it financially didn't make sense for me to do it, or it was unrealistic expectations or an unrealistic amount of work in exchange for the financial return, absolutely I would turn down a client. Okay. Now you have to be able to understand your own circumstances. Okay. I don't personally recommend ever taking what you might refer to as a problem client, somebody that's going to cause problems for you. But if you're in the early days of your business, lots and lots of time, and a client's going to ask a little bit more of you, okay, fair enough. Okay. If you've agreed to work 8 hours a day and you have a client that wants to take up 4 of those hours per day, but they're the only client that you have right at this point in time, then is that okay? Again, you decide. For me personally, yes, I would turn down a client if it didn't make sense. But what makes sense to me isn't going to make sense to you. And that's when we have to be able to read between the lines and understand that we are not somebody else. So whatever fits to your situation, whilst taking some of the tips from the webinar into account, make that work for you. Great question. Thank you. How do you know which hours to work? Love this. Love this question. You don't. You don't know what hours are best for me to work, and I don't know what hours are best for you to work. And that's such a fantastic question for that reason. Okay. What I will say, and this is how you do know, what works best for you. Okay. What hours work best for you during the day, during the night, during the evening? What works best for you? You know what's going on in your life, in your business life. Have you got a young family? Have you got other commitments? Have you got, extracurricular activities with the kids after school? What's going on? What makes sense for you? All right. So a bit of fun with that question. But the serious answer is, if you're going to ask me, how do you know which hours to work? You have to decide for yourself based on what your current life commitments are. But another fantastic question. Thanks ever so much. Any more questions from today? No? Okay, wonderful. Well, as always, have a fantastic Friday. And I very much look forward to speaking with you again on the next iOB business webinar. Take care and bye for now.